Hey guys, it's that time again. It's time to back the blockchain. Today we're talking about Minswap, a DEX being built on Cardano. So let's dive in. So right now I'm on Minswap's main homepage, and as you can see here, talks about diving into liquidity. So if you've not followed this project at all, the quick overview is that Minswap is one of many DEXs being built currently on Cardano, and all of which are waiting on our next phase of smart contracts here coming up very soon. So they're all rapidly building. Many of them have been in the Cardano-based Plutus Pioneers program, which is amazing. I wanted to go into more detail about this project, particularly because they are launching here in a few days, and there are some interesting ways to get involved, as well as an interesting way that they're launching their project. And I didn't see too many videos that were really going into the kind of the deep dive of things. And I'm not going to go into all of the granular parts of it, but I think I'll give a 10 or 15 minute overview of everything about it and maybe why you should get involved. If you're an ADA token holder and you're staking them currently, this is an easy way to get involved. It's also a way to support the network, support decentralization. Particularly if you're not staking right now, this is a great reason to get involved because you're going to get the benefits of getting interest on your ADA, as well as taking advantage of a airdrop opportunity for the Min token as part of Minswap. So let's jump in here real quick. My notes are probably a little better than just going through the website. So for example, the Minswap DEX. So I guess first all, one of the main things that I see different here is all of these DEXs are, for the most part, using an automated market maker type of model. But what I find different with Minswap is this multi-pool permissionless setup. So like I have here, what is a multi-pool? Because it's kind of a different terminology. So it basically means that there will be multiple pricing functions for a single pair. So anyone that's familiar with DEXs knows that there is a pair of tokens. It's not just one. And the trading interface in most cases only has one pair. In this case, there'll actually be multiple pools with the same tokens or pairs, where this trading platform will have a smart interface which will allow you to route your LP tokens, for liquidity into an efficient pool that has the best APY. So you're getting that best yield for your investment, which is great. So they're onto something. I think they're doing quite well with this. Another recent reason to kind of just give confirmation to that is they are a Fund 5 award winner from Project Catalyst. So that's certainly with Cardano's largest innovation fund. They just recently were an award winner, so they are able to get a little bit of funding because up to this point, as I'll explain more about their fair initial stake offering, they've completely bootstrapped. So they're not doing initial coin offerings. They're not doing any kind of venture backing. So it's a pretty interesting project. So as I mentioned already, and I just had this slide here, was the Cardano ecosystem is just exploding. Now most of these projects, some are live right now. Most of them are in the works. Again, just a smart contracts asterisk there with all these are really kind of going parabolic potentially, or really seeing where the winners and losers kind of may fall. So the adoption obviously will come very soon. So as we see here in this section in the middle, highlight here. So in this DEX area, you can see there's about 12 different DEXs or liquidity type providers that are involved, Minswap being one of them. So what I wanted to spend some time today was really understanding why. Why would I want to use Minswap versus another DEX? So I won't get into naming other names, but the most important thing that's been on everyone's mind right now is their unique positioning of what they call a FISO, which is a way of funding small stake pools and adding to the decentralization of the network, helping small stake pools to get additional delegation, get up to 3 million delegations, so blocks are being minted regularly. And what they're doing in exchange for that is they've set up a total of, it works out to be 6.25 million Min tokens are airdropped throughout a total of 20 epochs. So each epoch, they have a 6.25 million token airdrop. So this is really interesting because many of these projects, of course, have pitch decks. They're going to venture capitalists. They're doing ICOs, IDOs, and in many of these cases, those tend to be the more successful approaches. So what we've seen here with projects like Meld is they used a ISPO, or initial stake offering, which in their case they're building a very substantial lending platform, liquidity platform as well. And in their case, all of the delegators to this project are foregoing any interest on their ADA for about 6 months roughly. So you're not locked in, so you can bail on the project, but you're not going to get all those tokens. So something that's interesting is I do think this is not a fad. I think this is certainly a big trend within launching projects using stake pool funding, essentially, to make this work. Now, in the case of Minswap, they're not taking any of this money, which is kind of the unique part of this, is they're focusing specifically on helping the network of stake pool operators. So they're getting a significant this video. There's been over 25 million in funding that's come into 10 stake pools, and they have a total of 25 that they're funding. But why this works for them is they're still bootstrapping. So in the case of them taking money, it's not very attractive. But in the case of getting eyeballs and attention on their project, this works really well. And it's also just a really great thing to do for the ecosystem. But what they're doing is they're going to airdrop tokens to anyone that participates in this fair initial stake offering. So that's the incentive here. And what's great about it is I mentioned this already, but it's worth repeating, is when you're delegating, it's the same as delegating to any pool. If the pool gets blocks and you're going to get interest on your ADA, you get all of that. There's no portion that goes to anyone else. The only, other than the normal fees that are part of a pool. So you're able to get the interest on your ADA, plus you're able to earn min tokens as part of this process. So you can do this for as little as 1 epoch. You can do it for 2 epochs. Most people, of course, are going to do this for all 20 because they're going to maximize their ability to get min tokens. You want to think about this. DEXs and oracles on the Ethereum ecosystem are the most expensive tokens in that whole ecosystem for the most part. So when you look at this and you see, okay, which DEX or which series of DEXs are going to be the most popular, like a Uniswap, the possibility that some of these tokens could be worth something is certainly there. At this point, there's no financial advice and nobody really knows, but ultimately there is an opportunity for these tokens to be worth certainly more than 0, because you'll be getting these for free. So the next thing here is the launch pool. So what I find really interesting about this, and this is another thing I don't see in any other DEXs, is they're going to be using this DEX platform as a way to provide liquidity to new projects that are coming into Cardano. So a new project that wants to launch in the ecosystem, they're able to do this where you would be able to add LP, stake your min tokens, and as part of a launch series, you'd be able to participate in this farming or IDO to support another project. And in that case as well, if that project chooses, they can airdrop directly into your wallet there on Minswap, or your wallet that is compatible with Minswap, which at this time you can delegate through the normal Yoroi or Daedalus integrations, probably a few others. But what will be, and they are building an intermediary wallet currently if there's a delay between the functionality with smart contracts and the wallets. So none of that's, there's not going to be any gaps in you getting your airdropped tokens. So the next thing would be yield farming and staking. So I think and again, these are just all the things that for the most part, some of these things can be found on their breakdown, their Project Catalyst proposal. But I just kind of shortlisted these, kind of shortened them up, and really kind of put in my own words the kind of what I feel are the biggest benefits here. As we know with most DEXs, if you've used Uniswap or any of these other DEXs, the liquidity providers not necessarily are always rewarded the same on these DEXs. In the case of Minswap, the majority of the Min tokens that are going to be in the ecosystem are going to be rewarded to the liquidity providers. So people that are creating pairs with their LP tokens, they're going to be able to stake and get additional rewards. The fees on the transactions, for the most part, are going to be going to their, to people in the ecosystem that are providing liquidity. So that means you're going to get a higher yield. People are happy, keeps people using the ecosystem, which I think is great. Now, on the flip side, being a Min token holder, you're also able to receive rewards as well, which I'll get into as part of that. So a small portion of that goes back to the governance side of the token, and you still have value there as well. So the fourth one is the multi-asset bridge. So this is another great one, and they have plans on the roadmap to tie in to an existing project that's working right now, which is called Airdrop, which is a project that's a joint venture between Cardano Foundation, IOHK, Meld, and Vent Finance. And they're building a bridge which is going to be open source for any project, where they'll be able to plug into the Ethereum Matic ecosystem. So multi-asset bridge is really a big deal. Another thing that I think is really interesting, and a lot of people don't use this or aren't aware of this functionality, but on number 5, better than Uniswap 2.0. So really Minswap is coming into the market as like a Uniswap 2.0. Part of the roadmap is adding functionality. A company called Balancer, which I have the link here, and I'll add these links in the notes here as well, so you can reference this if you'd like. But what's interesting about Balancer is they allow the typical Uniswap or the typical DEX is always a pair. It's always only two. There can't be, and everything has to be of equal value based on the current value of those tokens. So what happens with Balancer is it's improving, and that's where this screenshot comes in, is it's improving Uniswap basically, and it's expanding upon it. And as I have here, like the current thing, you have 2, or you can have up to 8 pairs with a Balancer type of functionality. So Minswap is going to be incorporating this. So there's 2 great parts about that is you can have multiple tokens that are part of your LP token, and on top of that, they don't have to be all of equal amounts. So that's really a substantial improvement. Anyone that's used DEXs is really aware that the liquidity side and farming is an amazing part of the functionality, but a lot of times just having a pair and having to be equal is not always the most ideal. So I think this is something that many of us are looking forward to. Now, number 6, it goes without saying from me explaining how they're launching this with the FISO approach to helping small stake pools, but their tokenomics is also focused around taking those trading fees, and I won't dwell on this one because I already spoke a bit about this, is really providing the liquidity providers the best incentive while still providing a portion to the Min token holders, as well as providing for the overall platform, for the finance within the overall platform, a dividend, which you'd see in like traditional finance, that's also going to be given back to the Min token holders. So that's really impressive. Part of the roadmap they'll be doing in 2022, early 2022, moving into a DAO governance model. So all the Min token holders are going to be able to vote democratically. They're going to be able to, things like adding tokens to the platform, removing tokens from the platform, protocol changes, obviously direction of Minswap, which I don't think too many projects are going to be launching in the near future that don't have a DAO governance structure attached to it, because this really is the 2.0 version of running businesses. And aside from having a clear using on-chain tools and having clear direction of people and incentives and having all that aligned, I think DAOs are going to be the most successful part of all these projects working long term. So just a quick look at the roadmap here. We're obviously in Q3 testnet is going to be the end of August. So at this point, we're mid-August. So just in a few weeks, we're going to be moving to testnet. The fair initial stake offering is starting on the 18th. So that's just a few days away from this video being made. And you can enter, I'll get into this as well, but you can stake as early as now. And I'll get into all those details in a moment. So you can see here some of the things I've already spoken about here on a Q4, Q1 of 22, and Q2 of 22. So I said the DAO was in Q1, it's actually Q2. So we'll jump into the how to get involved here now, and then we can take it from there. Again, I'll drop this doc in the notes and all these links in the notes, so you can grab those as well. So I think it's best when we talk about getting involved. I'm directly on the documentation on Minswap, so words can't be mixed or changed. So I think what's important to know, and I'll just give you that overview without even scrolling down here, is the way to get involved in this is staking with one of the 10 pools, or if you have multiple wallets or different wallets, you can stake with as many pools as you'd like. But currently there are 10 pools here, and like I mentioned, I'm fortunate to be one of them. So I've spent a lot of time digging deep, staying in Discord, working with the other stake pool operators and the Minswap team, and understanding this and conveying the details about the project. So I'm a big fan, and obviously that's why I submitted to get involved in this in the first place. So and obviously in this the criteria of picking the pools, you had to have specific criteria to meet this. Not excessive fees. You had to have produced at least one block. You had to have a pledge of more than 20K. In our case, it's 100. So there are specific criteria that they were focusing on to get stake pools into this lottery to be selected. And what I think is more important, and what you probably want to know most, is how are the rewards calculated? Let's get, when can I get started? What does this look like if I change my mind, etc. I told you a little bit about it, but what's interesting about this is, as I mentioned, it's 6.25 million per epoch, the 125 million total, which is right here, over the course of the 20. And what they did, which is pretty well thought out, is they do have a whale limiter and a smallest pool reward. So what's happening right now, and I'll show you that real quick, is if we look at the dashboard here, we can see these are all 10 pools here. And you can see what the live stake is. And Minswap is actually getting snapshots of all delegation. They started doing this 2 weeks ago. So anyone that's delegating today, as early as 2 weeks ago, those snapshots are being taken. So if you've delegated into the lowest live stake of the pool, so in this case, Ginger Pool, this has been back and forth, but in this case, Ginger Pool, if you were to delegate to her right now at the time of this video, then you would get a 0.25 bonus on top of what you're already getting. So this is an incentive to continue to fund any pool that's at the lowest tier currently based on live stake. So that's an additional bonus that's there. And also, to keep this fair, there's a whale limiter. So 1 ADA is not necessarily worth 1 min. And I'm not going to get into all the tokenomics here. You can check this out. The link will be there. But basically, you can see this graph. This just gives you a really good idea of what this means. Is as you approach over 100,000, it starts scaling significantly different. And this is exactly where what you'd want. I mean, you don't want whales dominating this and getting all the min tokens. And that's the most important part. So I'm going to go through and see if there's anything else. And then this is the 25% multiplier bonus, as I mentioned. So 1.25x, and that will happen throughout the process. And you can, to answer your question about, people have asked, okay, if I need to sell my ADA, or if I choose not to do this, or there's another project, can I still get min tokens? So you will earn min tokens. There's not a lock period. So if you stay for 1 epoch, you're able to get mint tokens for that period of time based on the amount of ADA that you have staked during that epoch. Now, if you stay for all 20, then you've maximized your opportunity. So I think that's really an exciting thing. Lastly, it starts on August 18th, which is just a few days from now. If you're considering doing this, certainly delegate to any of the pools. I'm not giving any selfish plugs. If you want to join mine, that'd be great. But really, this is such a dynamic group of people. There's another 15 pools that are pending that will get filled up next as well. So I'm already approaching, getting closer to the 3 million. So we'll be putting someone else in my spot, which will be great. But one thing that we're doing as part of this, every stake pool has kind of their own bonuses. So I'm also providing a free Back the Blockchain shirt, as well as multiple bonuses on my website. So you're welcome to check that out as well. Please feel free to leave me any comments, questions, and thank you again for tuning in. And we look forward to keep pushing forward here with the Cardano ecosystem. Thanks. See ya.